to my first ever video. Um, I've been wanting to do vlogs. I know I said I would do vlogs, but I think it's better to do a video where I explain why I'm starting a YouTube channel. I am sick, so excuse my voice, but it's been just over a month. I lost my younger brother, and I've always wanted to start a channel. I've for years, for as long as I can remember, but I just never had the courage to start something, or I always kind of worried about what other people would think. But I think now's the time to share my story, to share my life. And I know, my life isn't that interesting, but the grieving process, like what my family's going through, what I'm going through, I think a lot of people can relate to it, and it's not really talked about that much. So this channel will be about the grieving process, what people go through, my mental health. I've been given a diagnosis and I'm quite excited. But to start off with, I'll talk about my grief and what happened to my brother. Um, he passed away on November 30th, 2021. It's it's January now. It's just been a little over a month, and it was honestly the biggest shock that you just don't expect things like this to happen. You always see it happen to other people. You never expect it to happen to you. My brother was 8 years younger than me. He was 19. It's so weird to talk about him in the past tense. And he went out one night and didn't come back. My husband and I, we were the first people to find out what happened. The police came knocking, and I honestly, in that moment, I felt like I couldn't breathe. I had like a panic attack. It was 6 a.m. in the morning. I had just woken up to this loud bang on the door, me thinking, oh, yep, it's my brother coming home from, being out with his friends or something. And, seeing two cops there asking if you know my brother, it's like, is he okay? Did you arrest him for something? Like, what happened? And them telling you've got to sit down for this, you just kind of, it builds up. And I have anxiety, so like in that moment I was having like, I felt like I couldn't breathe. I was having a panic attack. I felt like, like you just know something bad is coming. And like when they told me what had happened and that he was no longer with us, it was like I couldn't hear, like it was like I couldn't hear anything. I couldn't think anymore. And like my dad's sleeping upstairs, we all live together, my dad's sleeping upstairs, and me having to go up the stairs, wake him up and tell him, hey, can you come downstairs, the cops are here. And he's like, oh my god, what happened, and him coming down. My mom's at work already, like she didn't come home that night. She was doing a sleepover shift at work. So her coming home, me having to call her and being like, can you come home, something's happened, can you just come home right now? Like, she's like, oh no, I'll come home like at 9 when I finish my shift. I'm like, no mom, you need to like come home right now. And that those 20 minutes waiting for her and us sitting in silence, that was the longest 20 minutes of my life. And I was in such a shock that I couldn't even cry. And her seeing us with the cops, she just was like, what happened? Where's Chris? Like, she already knew something had happened to him. She could see our faces. And me having to tell her, it was really, really difficult. And her reacting, I've just never seen her that, like, she was just in disbelief. She started screaming, she started crying. Understandable, she just lost her son, and it's just my brother and I. Like, that's like, my family is small, and my brother was always like the baby of the family. And like, He was just such a lively person, and he just, like, he was very cheeky and naughty, and he always used to like make us laugh, do silly things. And just finding out how he passed too, like, he loved the water. He drowned at 12:30 in the morning. He went out with friends. He somehow ended up in the water. I still don't know, you know, exactly how he ended up in the water, but he did. And then he drowned. He was found 4 hours later, still submerged in the water. He hadn't, come up to the surface. He's a good swimmer. He loves the water. He, anytime the weather's hot, he's at the beach. He's having a good time. So, it doesn't make sense that he drowned. So that day, his friends, actually, I woke up and I checked my phone before I went downstairs to see the cops, and I saw there was a few calls from his friends, and it like, my phone didn't ring. I was asleep. I have a baby, so you know I'm glad I didn't pick up in a way, because if I had picked up and if I had gone down to when they were looking for his body, I don't think I would have coped waiting 4 hours for them to find him. I think that would have been torture for us, and I'm glad I didn't pick up. But losing him, I think, has opened up my eyes, and that's the reason why I want to do this. I want to have a YouTube channel. I've wanted to do this for so long, and he used to live his life like there was no tomorrow. He never had future plans. He, whenever we would ask him, what do you want to do in life? And he used to always be like, I'll figure it out. I'm still young. I'll figure it out. So he, like, never really had any future plans. He lived his life to the fullest. He enjoyed it. He never had any regrets, and he left with no regrets. And I want to live that kind of life, and I don't want to worry about the small stuff. I don't want to sweat the small stuff, and I'm not going to anymore. Like, I'm not going to hold back anymore. So anyways, back to that day. So we found out at 6 a.m. By 6:30, 7 o'clock, my mom was home. She found out. She's in disbelief. Like, she's screaming, crying. My heart's racing. I'm having a panic attack. And my mom's like, I want to see him. And they're like, you can't see him at the moment. You can call, the coroners, and they'll let you know what the next steps are. They gave us a pamphlet and everything. And to be honest, my parents were in no shape or form to call anybody and tell anybody what happened. So it was up to me. So I'm calling my grandma. I'm calling my aunties, my uncles, my cousins. This has happened. His friends come over at 10 o'clock. They tell us, we were out driving. We were just having a good time. We ended up, at Docklands, which is by the water. And he said he wanted to try something. Our backs were we weren't facing him. And somehow he ended up in the water. We called the security guard, and the security guard couldn't swim. And then he was found later on. The cops were called and he was found. And that day, I don't think I'll ever forget that day. And then I called my boss. I can't come in, this has happened. So supported. I feel so supported by them. They were so understanding. All of our bosses were so understanding. We all work, and we all just spent the day together. My aunt came over, my uncles came over, to support us. And the amount of support we received was amazing. Like, I can't thank everyone enough for the amount of support we received. We're Hindu. My dad's South Indian. We follow, everything religiously that he has to do as a South Indian. And our funerals are 16 days long. And they, it's, in a sense, I find it a little bit cruel that it's 16 days long, because it feels like you have to live that loss every single day. I still live with it every single day, but it's like a constant reminder. Some days are good, some days you know, are better than others. Like yesterday wasn't really a good day because yesterday, you know, was 1 month that it's been a month that we laid him to rest. His funeral was on the 5th of December. And I think about him constantly. Like the shirt I'm wearing right now, it's his. Like I think about him constantly. I think about, like, I didn't know he had left to go out with his friends that night. I was already asleep. And like I wish I would have been, you know, you always have those like thoughts of like, oh, if, you know, I did this, if I said this, if I had asked this, things would be different. He maybe would have still been here, or he maybe would have, you know, still been with us. But you can always question it all you want, and like you just at one stage have to accept what's happened. I do accept what's happened. I understand he's gone, but it still feels so unreal. Like we still, you know, we talk about him every day. My parents need to heal, like, and I feel like it's up to me to help everybody. And like I feel like I don't have time to grieve. And like when I'm freaking crying on the camera, it's not something I want to do. um and I think one of the other hardest, I've had a few hard days. Like, you know, one was finding out he's gone. The next was buying his final outfit, because it was up to me to buy his final outfit. You know, just shopping for him for the last time. You know, you'd always think you'd buy, you know, his wedding outfit or his birthday outfit. You never think you're gonna buy the final outfit. And like I'm older than him, and you always, you know, think that you're supposed to outlive me. You're supposed to be burying me, and here I am burying you. That was one of the hard days where I had to go out and buy stuff for him. And then the next hard day was having to plan his funeral, because my parents couldn't do it. I had to do it. Having to plan his funeral, having to sign his cremation papers, like having to put thought into like how I wanted to honor him and do justice and make sure that, you know, it would have been something he wanted. He wanted like a party, and I'll talk about his funeral another time. But and then another hard day was his actual funeral. Like his actual funeral, it was one of the most hardest days of my life. Like I don't think I would have done it without the support of my friends. My friends flew in from Sydney, my cousins flew in from Sydney. You know, like I said, like the amount of support we received. Like if you're watching and you were there, thank you so much. If it wasn't for like our families and friends, we wouldn't, you know, been able to honor him the way we did. And there was a few dramas that happened, which I will talk about later when I talk about the funeral. But you know, some people are so insensitive and they cause drama, and you know, it's like it's not okay to cause drama during a funeral. But yeah, those were the hardest days. And like something I'll never forget is like watch, because you get like you only close families and friends. So it was just my mom, my dad, me, my husband, my nana, my uncle and auntie that went in. And you know, you go in and you, during the cremation time, you nod and they put him in, and you know, you see the fire and they create. I think that was, to be honest, a bit traumatizing, because and like we're Hindu, so we don't have like a place, like we don't have a place in the cemetery where we can, like, we don't bury them and the ashes, like, which I'll talk about later, like, but we don't keep the ashes. So there isn't a physical place where I can go and sit and, you know, be like, he's here. There's like nothing physically left of him where I can sit and be like, and talk to him. And like the only place I can think of is like the beach where he used to go all the time. and he's probably there all the time, but it's not the same as having like a specific place, and like we're not allowed to have a specific place apparently, which is ridiculous. But anyways, I digress. I'm sorry I'm crying. I thought I had dealt with it, but this is, yeah, this is why I'm starting my YouTube channel. I'm gonna live my life to the fullest because that's the way he would have wanted me to live my life. And I'll share my life with you, and if it helps at least one person, then I've done my job. And if if you're triggered by this, please don't watch this. It's not something that I want anyone to be triggered by, but if it helps anyone heal, or if anyone ever wants to talk, please DM me. I'm more than happy to talk to you, and I will share more about what happened to my brother as I find it out, because I do still have to follow up with the coroner reports, and I have to follow up with the police and see what's happening and stuff like that. But thank you for letting me share what's been happening, and I feel a little bit lighter now. And please like and subscribe to my channel, like this video, and there will be more coming. I will aim to post once a week, and yeah, all my links are all down, my Instagram, my Snapchat, whatever you want to contact me on, whatever you want to follow me on, please do so. Thank you so much for watching.